Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at a new Crabominable card. We've had a few of these. We've only just got a new Crabominable back in Unbroken Bonds. Well, he back, ladies and gentlemen. He back. Now, looking at the basics here, you are a stage 1 with 140 HP. I mean, that's more than the Greninja had in Unbroken Bonds. That's a lot of HP. Crabominable, generally pretty bulky Pokemon. Although, to be fair, it is in line with the one from Unbroken Bonds. It's got a retreat cost of 4, which means you can use buff padding to give it more HP, up to 190, and search it out with Pokemaniac. And it's got a retreat cost of Psychic. Honestly, it looks like Mewtwo and Mew is going to be one of the best Pokemon moving forward after the rotation. And that's the Psychic type. And it's weak to Psychic, so a bunch of people are going to play Psychic to try and counter it. And that could be running into bad news bears. But you are a fighting Pokemon. That means you're hitting weakness on Pikachu and Zekrom, and it means you got loads of cool little tricks. You got Dancey Prism Star to do an extra 20 damage. You've got Martial Arts Dojo to do an extra 10 if you've got basic fighting attached, or 40 if you're behind on prizes. You've got Black Belt, which will reduce your attack cost by 1 fighting energy if you're behind on prizes. It's a really good time to be a fighting Pokemon right now. But what does it actually do? Well, the ability here in our translation is a combination of me using Google Translate and then checking with a lovely Joe from Cerebi.net to see how I'm getting on. He agreed. Cheers, Joe. Damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 30. Cool. I believe it is all attacks including your own. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure it is. That's nice. So I already said it's got 140 HP, which is big. And I already said you can use buff padding to put it up to 190, which is even bigger. Now you've got this, which gives it an effective HP of 170 or 220 with a buff padding. That's Wailord numbers. Although, to be fair, Wailord can put buff padding on to go up to 270, so I don't know. Either way, for a stage 1 Pokemon that gives up a single prize, this is borderline redonk, ladies and gentlemen. And look, we've seen this ability on a bunch of Pokemon over the years. I mean, we saw it on my boy Donphan way back. And we've seen it on many since. You just take a bit less damage. But it's a stage 1 non-GX Pokemon. So Power Plant ain't gonna work. You're basically a slacking. Now, to be fair, slacking does a natural 160 damage. Which means with the ability, slacking wouldn't get a KO, but turning off the ability it will. So okay, slacking really will make a mockery of you here, but come on, it's slacking. Slacking's not good, ladies and gentlemen. Slacking's not good. Now, there is an argument to play this as a blocking Pokemon. There is an argument to just go, let's whack it in the active and buy some time. But honestly, if you're looking at a stage 1 Pokemon, why not Wailord? It's got more HP, it's got the same retreat cost so it can still use buff padding, and it doesn't need the ability because it's got 80 more HP, so an ability that reduces damage by 30 really isn't floating our boat. So to be blunt, this is a nice bonus. We like the ability is nice, but it's not a reason to play the card. It's fine. It's a good bonus, but we need something more. Well, the good news is we have something more. We've got a rather nice little ability here, and by ability I of course mean attack. Fighting, colourless energy, 80 damage. If this Pokemon has any water energy attached to it, it does 160 damage. And I'm kind of torn with this, because on the one hand, 160 damage is great. That is a super easy KO on Pikachu and Zekrom, given that they're weak. And you would be getting Dedenne anyway, although to be fair, Dedenne's weak, so even if you don't have water energy attached, because of weakness, you're still getting a one-hit KO on Dedenne. And in terms of non-GX Pokemon, you're golden. I did show you an Emboar yesterday with 170 HP, and we've been talking about Wailord. And to be fair, an opposing Crabominable with the ability will survive with 10 HP. So there are some weird Pokemon around that can take this hit, but they're few and far between. Solgaleo Prism Star, he's pretty gosh darn bulky, he gone. Stage 2s, like Dragonite or Empoleon, they gone. You are really getting a lot of Pokemon here. Now, there is an argument that you're not getting enough GXs, and that's true. But that's when we realise we've actually got a whole bunch of damage modifiers. Because that 160 with a Diancie Prism Star goes up to 180, and there's your KO on Blacephalon or Rayquaza. With a Martial Arts Dojo, even if you're not behind on prizes, you're up to 190. There's a one-hit KO on Ultra Necrozma. If you are behind on prizes, now you're rocking 220. Oh, look. Now you're getting a whole bunch of Stage 1 GXs. Think things like Naganadel, for instance. Or, well, I would say Persian GX, but Persian GX is weak. As is a Lowland Persian GX. You're hitting a nice weakness. The point is that we're doing a lot of good here, and if you really want to go further, you can play Shrine of Punishment. Although let me be 100% clear about what I mean by that. You need Martial Arts Dojo when you are attacking, but you can also play Shrine of Punishment, so in the turns before and after you're attacking, you're dropping 1 damage counter on each GX and EX, but don't play your own, then you don't have to take any damage counters, you'll be fine. No, you can't play this the same turn as Martial Arts Dojo, but you can leave it out a turn or two beforehand. So actually, this 160 fairly easily gets up to 220, and now we're talking, ladies and gentlemen. And that's before we talk about the things... talk again about the things you're hitting for weakness, which are plentiful and relevant. Okay, so what about the attack cost then? Fighting water. Really, it's fighting water. How easy is that? Not that easy. Now, the good news is we are getting a new Groudon that does let you attach extra energy, which is very nice. That will help. And it is a basic at the end of the day, and it does it for a single energy. We like Groudon. I've done a video about that, link in the description. So Groudon will help us out. And if you want to go water, you can go Naganadel Quagsire here, but then you really do need to remember that that means you're basically playing a water deck. And the good news is you can use Black Belt to reduce one of the fighting cost, but not the other. It's still fighting water, and that's if you're behind on prizes with a Black Belt attached. It is an awkward attack cost, and I don't think I can really argue it any other way. This attack cost sucks. And if you're using Groudon, you're fine. Outside of that, it's awkward. What I will say is we've now got Viridian Forest, and we have had for a little while now. And the great thing about Viridian Forest is it lets you search for any basic energy. So you can play something like Crabominable, just play 1 or 2 water energy, and then search them out using Viridian Forest. So you essentially have a couple turns of Groudon putting 2 fighting energy onto your Crabominable, and then each of them is just 1 water energy away from attacking, and that's where Viridian Forest comes in. It's payable. It's not something like Marshadow and Machamp pre-Groudon, or Toxapex when it came out before Malamar was a thing, where I just looked at them and went, you're not paying this attack cost, it's not viable. But I'd be lying to you if I said this wasn't awkward, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is going to be an easy attack, but I've just laid out why it's a relevant attack that you do need to be considering. As a side note, do please remember, we've got Martial Arts Dojo and Black Belt that do ask you to be behind on prizes, but we've also got Miss Magius, which puts you behind on prizes. And if you're playing Crabominable, might I suggest teching in at least 1 of the Crabominable from Unbroken Bonds. For just 2 colourless energy, 30 damage plus 50 more for each Pokemon fewer that you have in play than your opponent. And if you're playing this new Crabominable anyway, there's nothing to stop you playing 1 of these and then going, wait, my opponent's got a full bench. I'm going to put my last Crabrawler in the active, but then I'm going to evolve it up into the Unbroken Bonds Crabominable, and now I get to do, well, that'll be 230 damage at that point. No, if they've got a full bench, that would be 280 damage. 230 if they've got 5 Pokemon in play. 280 if they've got 6. That's pretty great. That's a fun little tech. As for this Crabominable, I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. Although, honestly, as I say it, it feels a bit generous. I love the HP. I love the ability. I love the advantages you get from having a retreat cost of 4. I love the advantages you get from being a fighting Pokemon. I love all the weaknesses you're hitting. I love the damage that you're doing. But the attack cost really puts me off here. It's payable as I've laid out, but it's not that easy. So I like Crabominable, but I am worried about the attack cost. I'd like to know if you're worried about it. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk about games that don't even have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.